Good afternoon from the National Service of the Liberia Broadcasting System and welcome to Newsline. 30 minutes news presentation about Liberia and the rest of our one world. Today is Wednesday, August 16, 2023. With this afternoon's presentation, my name is Titi Jibo. Top stories this afternoon: President George Weah and ruling Coalition for Democratic Change take campaign to rural Mansuratu County. Information Minister Lejahud Renin describes recent threats of war as cheap talk.
Some of these people making noise do not even have the capacity to do anything.
Floods makes more than 100 people homeless in Bakadu, Lofa County, and away from Liberia. Zimbabwe police arrest 40 opposition campaigners ahead of next week's election. Sports, the news in French, foreign development, and weather report are all packaged. First, Augustine Colley, that's Emmanuel Colley, sets the pace with a bulletin of news.
CDC campaign team led by a standard bearer President George Weah is holding political rally in Mansuratu County District 1. President Weah entourage has toured rural Mansuratu and interacting with citizens, including local authorities. As part of the campaign trail, the political rallies are being held in Carisburg, Kingsville Community, and Yantown Todi District, respectively. The event marks the 7th day of the president's campaign activities in Mansuratu County following the official launch recently. Last week, official turnouts by CDC supporters and partisans have been reported so far, especially for those who believe in the president's manifesto. At the same time, President Weah has reassured the international community of his commitment to peace and sustaining Liberia's democratic gains. President Weah also committed his government to conducting free, fair, and credible elections. An executive mansion release calls the Liberian leader as pledging to campaign in line with rules and regulations inscribed in the Farmington River Declaration. He made a commitment Tuesday during a meeting with Linando Santos Simao, the Special Representative of the United Nations Secretary Council and head of the UN Office for West Africa and the Sahel. President Weah said his government will continue to empower the National Elections Commission by providing the funding necessary to successfully conduct the elections. Meanwhile, President Weah has consoled the government and people of the United States following the tragic death of at least 99 people due to wildfire in Hawaii recently. In his message to President Joe Biden, the Liberian leader extended heartfelt condolences to the people of the U.S., particularly the bereaved family, for the loss sustained. A foreign ministry release says President Weah prayed and hoped that God will grant President Biden and the resilient people of the United States comfort and strength during the national period of national mourning. President Weah also wished those injured from the incident a speedy recovery. Information Minister Lejahud Renin has assured Liberians that there will be no war in the country. Minister Renin described as unpatriotic and nationalistic for everyone or anyone to seek of war amid the level of tranquility taking place across Liberia. The Liberian leader, that's Liberian Information Minister, was reacting to recent threats of war made by District 1 Representative Iyeke Koluba.
These people making these comments want the situation to degenerate so that they can blame it on the administration. We are not going to buy that bait. No matter how tempting the bait can be, we're not going to buy the bait. Some of these people making noise do not even have the capacity to do anything.
Minister Renin described the controversial lawmakers' threat as a cheap talk because no Liberian is willing to support any war in the country. The information minister told Elbc Wednesday that government has sufficient security intelligence to monitor and determine what constitutes threats to national security. Meanwhile, the information minister said President Weah's enviable records are key indicators for his re-election. Minister Renin said President Weah is campaigning on the back of his record of good leadership, which has resonated well with Liberians. He named massive achievements in health, education, recreation, and road infrastructure as things that set the Liberian leader apart from other candidates. The minister noted that the country is on a good footing and does not need rescuing from the opposition. Over 100 persons, including women and children, have been made homeless as a result of flooding in Bagitu Town, Kwanuboni district in Lofa County. It happened after the Lofa River flooded its bank due to heavy rain recently. The flooding forced residents to leave their homes and seek refuge with family members and friends in other communities. The Commissioner of Bagitu Township, Samawolo County, told our correspondent that the number of affected persons might go up high as his office is still collecting data of the affected communities. He said at the moment, they have identified 12 houses completely damaged and that need to be rebuilt with several other damaged structures in the area. And the Senate has paid homage to fallen Bapolo County Senator Danny Miten following the arrival of his belly Tuesday evening via the Rabos International Airport in Lower Magibi County. The belly has been deposited at the St. Moses Funeral Home for preservation. Turning over the body to the funeral home, Senate Pro Tem Apochie described the death of Senator Miten as a great loss and heartbreaking moment for the Senate.
I received the remains of fallen who went to seek treatment in India and unfortunately had to return to Liberia in the state.
The Grand Crew County Senator also consoled the bereaved family and pledged the Senate's unwavering support to give the fallen senator a befitting burial. The arrival of the remains of the Bapolo County Senator was witnessed by scores of senators, supporters of the Alternative National Congress, including family members and sympathizers, among others.
Emmanuel Colley returns a little later with our foreign development and weather report. One of our top stories this afternoon: flood makes more than 100 people homeless in Bagidu, Lofa County. To this story now, government has ruled out any potential threat that will disrupt the country's peace during ongoing campaign activities and after. The government vowed to do all in its power to maintain the peace and avert any full-scale war in the country.